and welcome to the 2015 Summer Tour, Fixing Fords Across America. What this is a first in a series of repair videos from the vehicles we actually fix on the tour, whether it be how to repair something, how to diagnose something, or for you guys to just follow along on the way and see all the great people and the vehicles that we fix and where all your money's going, more importantly, for all those that donated to the GoFundMe campaigns. Now this first one is down in southern Illinois. It's a 2007 Ford Expedition that has a 5.4 liter in it. And what it has is a reoccurring cylinder 5 misfire, so a P0305. And the guy's already put a lot of effort into diagnosing it and replacing parts on it. He just needs a little bit of diagnostic assistance. He's changed coils, spark plugs, injectors, and the cylinder 5 misfire just keeps coming back. Now I've already done some engine pre-checks on here. The first thing I did was make sure that the P0305 was in there. Sure enough it was. That's an easy check. And then the next thing I did was check the power balance to make sure cylinder 5 was actually misfiring on there. And the first thing I noticed upon startup is that the whole left-hand bank that cylinder 5 is located on was dead at first, and then it kind of came back to life and smoothed out on there. So the next thing I did was a relative compression test in the scan tool, and that passed with flying colors. So after that, it's time to go under the hood and check it out. I made sure that the coil and plug were installed properly. Yep, no problems with there. And what I did after that was I took them out of there and I checked the overall condition of the spark plug. Still brand new, perfectly white, no problems with oil getting on it or excessive fuel, anything like that. Now for the heck of it, while I was out of there, the whole fuel rail is ultra hot from me running the engine already, so it's highly pressurized. Now the 5.4 liter 3-valve engines had a real problem with leaking fuel injectors so bad that they would actually cause hydrolocks and bent piston connecting rods. So that was a real problem back in 05, even in 06. It's kind of rare in 07, but I figured I'd give it a shot. What I did is I left the spark plug out of there, and I kind of just smelled the cylinder for a while to see if there's any fuel dripping down in there, and vaporizing, giving that raw fuel smell. Nope, no problem. That makes sense because the spark plug was so clean. So the next thing I did was go for a drive, and that's where I found all the problems, and that's what I'm about to show you. So check it out. Now when you're trying to diagnose this, what you want to do is get your scan tool out and bring up these O2 sensor PIDs right here, 11, 12, 21, and 22. That's both bank 1 and 2, front and rear. And we're going to watch those, and you'll be able to see if it's inactive or not. And the very important one is this one right here. Now I just reset the cam on here to show a point. Right now we're at 149.7. Well, we're at about seed level, so it should be about 158.6. So as you drive, it'll learn. Now if you're driving and the cat's plugged up though, it'll actually drop down to 130s, 120s. So I'm going to show you how it looks on here. This is the biggest telltale if your catalytic converter is plugged up over it being a fuel issue, because the air that's coming in just cannot get out. Therefore, the inferred barrel is way off, and you'll see it drop down to the 130s as we drive. First thing we're going to do is we're going to drive, let you hear it and feel the power, how it just bogs down like that, and then it starts rattling, and then we'll come over back to the barrel. And we'll show you it dropped way down. All right, put your foot into the floor, and this is what you hear. All right, so here's a really good check. Put your foot to the floor, come on, stop, and it should shift like normal. And we're not. Okay, I'm not gonna do it anymore, but that's a really good sign that the cat converter is plugged. It causes a engine and trans drivability issue. So it may seem like the transmission is the issue where it won't shift, has delayed shifts. In all reality, it's an engine performance issue causing it not to shift, because it all relies on the barrel and the mass airflow sensor input for your shift points. And already you can see our barrel drop down to 130 something there already, just from that one wide open throttle acceleration. Alright, so here's the cat on the driver's side, which is bank 2, and that's when we're hearing all that noise from, and of course having all the issues on bank 2 with misfires and the O2 sensors showing that the cat has failed in general. Also what you can do is come down with the rubber mallet, of sorts, good size one, and tap it. Hear all that in there? That's the catalyst substrate in there. That's fallen apart. Part of it's melted inside of there, causing the restriction, all kinds of stuff. And what can happen is it can send it out through the rest of the exhaust here too. That's the shield. What you can do, you're thinking, maybe it's not so bad. Just go to the other side, the other cat on the other side, and do the same test. And it should sound solid in there, not like this, where everything's just coming apart in here. That's one of the classic signs that it overheated and melted in there, is that when it comes brittle like that and starts cracking and falling apart like that, that's where we're getting all the noise from. So as you can see, diagnosing misfires isn't always as cut and dry as just changing an ignition coil out or a spark plug. What I can tell you is that injectors causing misfires on Fords is very, very rare. So I'll go after fuel as a misfire cause as a very last resort on there. Now the way a catalytic converter can cause a plugged catalytic converter can cause a misfire is the fact that it's not letting the exhaust gases out of the system. Therefore, all those inert burnt gases are staying in the cylinder, diluting the air-fuel mixture in there, and therefore you'll get a misfire or a low power output. It's the same way as if you ever had a scan tool and you took control of the EGR valve and then you dump too much EGR into the cylinders at idle, they'll start misfiring and stumbling. It's the same idea. The mixture is way off and it's going to misfire and it's gonna die out like that, low power. So he does have to buy a catalytic converter. It's going to be $500 to $700 for a direct fit aftermarket catalytic converter on there, but at least now he has a direction and a cause for all of this instead of it continually swapping out more and more parts on there. So overall, a successful stop on the trip.